I want to start with something I think a lot of you are going to recognize. Your life looks fine. I mean, seriously. By almost any measure, you're doing okay. You show up, you're responsible, you take care of the people who need you. You haven't done anything wrong. You have things to be grateful for, and you know it. And yet something feels lost. Not dramatically lost, not I don't know where I am lost, but there's this quiet sense, a feeling that sits just below the surface of your normal productive day, that something isn't quite right, that you're not quite where you're supposed to be, that something important is missing, and you can't fully put your finger on what it is. And the confusing part, the part that makes this so hard to talk about with anyone, is that it makes no logical sense because your life looks fine. So, how can you feel lost? That's what I want to talk about today. Because I think once I explain what's actually happening, once I name the thing underneath the feeling, it's going to make more sense to you than almost anything you've probably heard about this. And more importantly, it's going to take the guilt away. Because most people who are carrying this feeling are also carrying a quiet sense of shame about it. Like they shouldn't feel this way, like they're being ungrateful or weak or even without faith for feeling so lost when everything seems fine. Well, you're not weak and you're not ungrateful and you're not without faith. You're in a very specific kind of transition and nobody's told you it was coming. Here's what I mean. For most of your adult life, you've had something that organized your sense of who you were, a role to play, a title, a season, something that told you every morning when you woke up what you're going to be doing and why it mattered and who you needed to be. Maybe it was raising children, or you were a parent actively, fully hands on. That role organized your days and your identity and your sense of purpose, and that can last decades. Maybe it was a career. You were a professional, someone who showed up, contributed, built something, and was known for something. That gave you a framework of who you were in this world. Maybe it was a season or a service or a leadership position. You were the person people came to, maybe a volunteer. You had a clear sense of what you were called to do, and you did it. Whatever it was, that role was the answer to the question, who are you? And for years, maybe decades, that answer felt true. But now something's changing. Maybe the children are grown and living their own lives, or the career is winding down, or the company got sold. The season of service is completed. The role that organized everything is shifting, or maybe it's already gone. And without it, without that external thing that told you who you were every morning, you're discovering something that surprises you. You don't quite know who you are without it. That's what the lost feeling is. That is the thing nobody names. It's not depression. It's not a midlife crisis. It's not ingratitude or weak faith or an inability to be satisfied. It's what happens when the external structure that organized your identity for decades starts to change, and nothing's replaced it yet. Your sense of self is looking for something to anchor to, and right now, it just doesn't have that thing. And that creates a feeling, a persistent, quiet, disorienting feeling that something is lost. Something is, but it's not what you think. What's lost is not your worth or your purpose or your faith or your future. What's lost is just the role that used to hand you these things automatically every morning. And the difference between those two things, that difference, is everything. Because here's what I've learned from 40 years of walking alongside people through this exact transition. That role was never where those things actually lived. Your identity, your worth. Your worth was never in the role. Your purpose was never in the title. Your significance was never dependent on that season continuing. The role just made them easy to feel. It handed them to you without requiring you to go find them yourself. And now that the role is changing, now that it's no longer handing them to you automatically, you have to go find them. Not because they're gone, because it's time to own them for yourself. That's actually what this season is. It's not loss of identity, it's an invitation to build one that belongs entirely to you. Not to a role, not to a title, not to a season that can end, but one that's yours, that nobody can take away because it doesn't depend on anything staying the same. I know that might sound easier said than done, and you're right, it's not easy. It requires a real, honest, guided process of sitting with some questions that you may have been avoiding, Who am I outside of what I do? What do I actually want? Not just for my family or for my work or for what looks good from the outside. What do I want for me? What is still in me that hasn't been fully expressed yet? Those questions are a bit uncomfortable, but they are the most important questions of this season of your life. And they have real answers, specific answers, answers that lead somewhere. And that's what I help people find. And it's what this YouTube channel is for. On Saturday, I want to talk about something related to this, something that I think is going to land in a very specific way with many of you. The life you built, the structure of it, the shape of it, the rhythm of your days was built for a version of you that may not fully exist anymore. And that's not a problem. That's actually the beginning of something. So I hope I'll see you Saturday.